Hello, Algebra 2 Gators. I'm not feeling well, so this will have to substitute for our lesson today. Today you should get the 6.5 handout. It should be in the front of the room. Hopefully somebody put it there. We are going to work on the front page, which is the class activity, and then you will do the back page and upload it so that I can grade it. Tomorrow your assignment will be on Canvas. You can just go onto Canvas and do some multiple choice questions there. And then when I come back, we're going to review for another 2 days, and then you'll have a Chapter 6 test. Okay, this assignment is on simplifying radical expressions, add, subtract, multiply, and divide radical expressions. Okay, in our class activity, we are going to simplify these radicals, and it's probably a good idea to break down these big numbers into their factors, and you can see I just used a factor tree to do that. And when I did that, I got this. So you should probably write this down so you have evidence of it. And you can see what I'm doing is I am pulling out anything. Well, this is a square root, so things in groups of 2 get to come out. And you can see that I'm going to have 3 times 2, which is root 15. There is a 3 and a 5 still left, so it's 6 root 15. On this next problem, I'm pulling out groups of 3 because it's a cube root. And when I pull out groups of 3, I will have a negative, a 2, a 3, and there will be a 2 in the radical. Over here, this is a fourth root, so I am looking for groups of 4. And so that'll come out, that'll be a 3, and there will be a 5 remaining under the radical. This is a cube root, so I'm looking for groups of 3, and so we can get 2 times 2, 1, 2 for this group, 1, 2 for this group, so that'll be 4 cube root of 2. Now let's talk about simplifying when you have variables. And when you have variables, you still got to break down those numbers. And then I went ahead and wrote out 6 T's and 2 W's. Remember, this is a cube root, so groups of 3 come out, groups of 3. And we can see we get a 5 out, a t squared, 1 t for this group, 1 t for that group, and then the rest have to stay under the cube root, so w squared. This is a square root, so groups of 2 come out, groups of 2. And so this will be 3 x, and since there were 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of y's, I'll have y to the 4th, and this will be square root of 5x. Those are the ones remaining. This is a fourth root, so groups of 4 get to come out, and so that I didn't have to write so many, I did my powers to the 4th power so that I would know that those are groups of 4. And so that's going to be a 2. There were 2 groups of v's, so v squared. There were 3 groups of z's, and then this will be the 4th root of 3, and then there was a z. Over here, we're doing groups of 3, and I left it to a power of 3, so I didn't have to write so much. And I'm going to have a 2, a g, there's 2 groups of k's, and then this is a cube root, and then this is k squared. Now let's talk about simplifying when we have a quotient. What we want to do is take the square root of a quotient and take the square root of the numerator times the square root of the denominator. We do not want to leave a square root in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by the number 1. This is going to allow me to have a group of 2 here. So I'll be able to say the number 3. And then I'll be able to put both of these under the same square root and say root 33. Over here, I have 2 times 2 times 2. And over here I have 3 times 3. I'm going to multiply by the cube root of 3. because then I will have 3 in my group. And so this will be a 3. I can pull out one of these groups of 3 here, and then I'll have cube root of 3 left here because that can't come out. I'm looking for groups of 2. And I can see I'm missing one. So in order for me to have an even number of groups, I'm going to multiply by square root of y, but whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. And now I'll have my other group here. So now I'll have y to the 3rd power. And it looks like I'm going to be able to take a 1, 2 out, 1 x out, and then what I'll have left is a 2, an x, and a y. Over here, I'm looking for groups of 3. So here's a group of 3. I'm looking for a group of 3. I don't have groups of 3, so I'll have to multiply so I can get my group of 3. But whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. And now I have this group of 3, so I don't have to write the radical anymore. I'm going to pull out one of my x's, and then what I have left is an x, and I still have that y from what I had over here. Properties of radicals. Remember what we were doing is when you have a radical, a product, you can split it up or you can put it together. When you have a quotient, you can split it up or you can put it together. Let's go ahead and multiply these. And when I multiply, while I'm writing, I'm going to put these 2 square roots together under 1 square root. I multiplied the 3 and the negative 4, negative 12, and I made the 15 into its factors, and I made 49 into its factors. So now I'm looking for groups of 2. So I have this group of 2 right here, this group of 2 here, and this group of 2 right here. So this answer is going to be negative 12, and I'm going to be able to pull out a 3, and I'm going to be able to pull out a 5, and then I'll have the square root, and then I'll have a 3 here. So when I multiply all this out, that'll be negative 180 root 3. Okay, over here I took 24 and I wrote it into its factors, and I took 18, I wrote into its factors. And this is a square root, so I can get groups of 2 out. Groups of 2 out, and then there's a group over here that I can get out too. So I have my number 14. I'm going to be able to pull out a 2, pull out a 3, pull out a 2, and then what I have left is, it looks like 3. 3 didn't have any pairs with it. So now I have 14 times 12, and 14 times 12 is 168 root 3. All right, now let's talk about adding. When you add, you have to make sure you're talking about the same square root. So 4 root 3 plus 6 root 3, the roots have to be the same, and what you're doing is you're telling me how many of them are, because 4 root 3 means there's root 3 plus root 3 plus root 3 plus root 3. That's what 4 root 3 means. And 6 root 3 means there's going to be 6 of these. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to collect them. We're trying to find out how many we have together. We have 4 of them here. We have 6 of them here. So we're going to have 10 altogether. It's kind of like with x's. 4x plus 6x is equal to 10x. So that's what we're doing. We're collecting roots. All right, so when you have a problem like this, 2 root 3 plus 4 root 75, you cannot add them because they're not the same root. So what we have to do is we have to take that root 75 and we have to break it down. And we have to simplify this part right here. And now it becomes this. And now we have 2 root 3 plus 20 root 3. They are the same root, and now we can collect them just like x's, and we can say we have 22 of them. But you have to simplify first. All right. So let's go ahead and do our problem. We cannot add these together until we simplify. So we are going to take 6 root 20, and root 20 is 2 times 2 times 5, and 8 root 5 can only be 8 root 5 plus, minus, let's see, 8 root 5 minus 5, and then I can make that 9 times 5, 3 times 3 times 5. All right, now since I have groups of 2 in here, I can pull that out, and now I will have 6 times 2 root 5 plus 8 root 5 minus 5 times 3 root 5. So this is going to be 12 root 5 plus 8 root 5 minus 15 root 5. Now we can collect them. We have 20 here, 20, take away 15, and the answer is 5 root 5. And you can only do it once you simplify. Okay, now let's take care of this next one. This is a subtraction problem. And square root of 48 is 6 times 8. 6 is 2 times 3. And then 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. Minus 6. And then 75 is 3 times 25. So that's 5 times 5. Let's go ahead and look for some pairs. So this can come out. I can get a 2 out here, and I can get out another 2 over here. So this is going to be 2 times 2 times root 3 minus 6, and I can pull out a 5, root 3. So this is going to be 4 root 3 minus 30 root 3. Now they're the same roots, so I can say negative 26 root 3. And you can only do this once you get them all to be the same square root. Okay, last thing we're going to do is multiply binomials that have a square root. So I wrote this twice because that's what square means. And I'm just going to do FOILing first, and then outer, and then inner, and then last. Okay, first is going to be a 9. Outer will be minus 3 root 7. Inner will be minus 3 root 7. And last will be positive root 7 times root 7. And so this is going to be 9, take away 6 root 3. And remember, this is doubled, so I can say plus 7. And so the answer is 16 minus 6 root 3. Okay, this one is, I'm going to do FOIL again. And so this is going to be first, outer, inner, and then last. Okay, so this will be negative root 7, and then outer will be minus root 7. Oh, I did not do that right. Let's try again. My first was supposed to be 5. And then my outer was negative root 7. My inner was plus 5 root 6. And my last was minus root 6 times root 7. So this is 5 minus root 7 plus 5 root 6 minus root. There's no common factor, so you can just say 42. Nothing's going to simplify. There's no common terms. This is the answer. Okay, so now we have gone through all 10 problems, and hopefully you have written them down. And if you need to look at the video again, look at it again, and then you can attempt to do the problem. Okay, good luck, Gators.